Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. I want to apologize, I have some issues with my sound recording at times. That's probably the consequence of filming on my phone, but we're going to go ahead, we're going to try and get this video out the door today. It is Friday, so I want to get this out for you guys. I'm going to be ranking the Territory War Omicrons in this game, so strap yourselves in. If you haven't already, you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and we're going to get to the best part of the video right away. I have a contract that stipulates that in every video, I must profess my love for Wampa. If you're asking who the contract's with, it's no one. So I'm here just to say that, Wampa, your unique abilities of Howling Rage and Cornered Beast make my heart so happy. Inside of Grand Arena, you are my king, and in my heart, you are all of our kings. All right, so let's get into this list, guys. We're going to kind of do this a little bit quickly. I've kind of made squads. We've got levels to this. So the first level is lol, no, and that's the Inquisitors. These regular Inquisitors here are just not worth putting Omicrons on because you're going to put them on Grand Inquisitor when you get him. So this is one of those situations, guys, where eventually these characters' leaderships are going to get replaced, so it's not worth putting Omicrons on. Next two, Hera Syndulla, Luke Skywalker Farm Boy. They're so early game. I think the Hera Syndulla one, you could maybe make a case for if you relic your entire Phoenix team, but they're not really needed at crazy relic levels. Like, Hera is only relicked in my roster for the profundity, so I don't really think that investing in the Omicron is a great decision. I would much rather these Omicrons be on other characters. All right, so Jyn Erso. I have her as this, like, doesn't work right, and here's why. I mean, there's a lot of really good bonuses for Rogue One. I'm not going to read all these, but whenever she scores a critical hit, she's granting crit hit immunity and taunt to tanks for 2 turns. Now, to understand something, we need to go to Admiral Radiss's kit. And in his leadership, whenever a Rogue One ally is critically hit, right, that enemy gains exposed for 2 turns. And if you faced an Admiral Radiss team, you understand that the primary source of damage from your team is that exposed damage. But if Jyn Erso is critting and then granting your tanks taunt and then crit hit immunity, you're really hindering those exposes landing on your team. So these other bonuses are good, but like this Omicron, just something seems weird, right? It just doesn't work right because we'd rather those exposes land. All right, next is this Inquisitor and Boba Fett Sign of Django. They both do counter Galactic Legends, but this is a classic case, guys, of what I call GL counters but. What do I mean by this? They counter Galactic Legends, but the investment required for both of them is ridiculous. From the Boba Fett Sign of Django side, it's that you need to build an entire team around him with good relic levels to get him to the point that they want you to take advantage of those Omicrons, right? With Grand Inquisitor, you need all of the Inquisitors, bare minimum Relic 5. Then you need him and his Omicrons just to counter Galactic Legends in a single game mode. And in my personal opinion, that's just a little, I don't want to say too far, right? But that's a lot to ask for something that's like countering Jedi Master Luke, right? So that's just, again, guys, my personal opinion for Grand Inquisitor. Boba Fett Sign of Django, he can counter GLs, but you need a ton of relic levels in it. I just don't think it's worth it. At least for someone of my level with my resources. All right, next on this list is the useful Omicrons. And we're going to look at Skiffguard Lando right here and just say that, like, this Omicron, it's going to make the Hutt cartel so much better, right? It's going to make the job of the Hutt team so much more difficult to kill. I don't want to say so much more difficult. But do we really need Jabba to be that much harder to kill? Like, you could put that Omicron on a team and make them even better comparative to, like, Jabba, who's already hard to kill. All right, Captain Phasma. In my opinion, this Omicron is one of the most bang for your buck Omicrons because if you've gone for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, you have the First Order units. You're never going to set this team on defense, especially in the end game. But with the Omicron on, she turns into an amazing team inside of Territory Wars. It's useful. I'm not going to say that it's a top tier Omicron, but for the amount of investment necessary, which is that you've already got these characters for a GL rec, this is a fantastic Omicron. T3M4, this is another one where there is investment involved, but I think it kind of puts him in this really nice place where the shorty team is useful in a lot of different game modes, GAC, Conquest, probably going to be used in territory battles that are coming up. So this T3M4 giving additional armor penetration, survivability to that droid team just makes them that much better. And I really think that with the addition of the 2 new droids for Dr. Aphra, this Omicron is going to be amazing. Mace Windu is useful. But there's a big, I almost wanted to put him a step down, but I didn't. But it comes down in here, right? So the Shatter Point, this ability is good. Here's the problem. The bottom of his kit says, whenever an ally damages an enemy with Shatter Point, all allies gain 5% turn meter. Guys, here's a problem with that. If you run him with Jedi Master Kenobi, nobody's gaining turn meter. So you're taking away half of this Omicron, right, of gaining turn meter. And if you run him with Jedi Master Luke, well, I can go and just target Mace right away, right? Because he's going to have that, he's going to gain that resilient defense or whatever that I can, target him. And the whole point of Jedi Master Luke is to stop me from being able to target the rest of his team because he has taunt. So it's kind of one of those give and takes where it's a useful Omicron, but it's definitely not top tier. Embo. I was really close to putting Embo in the top. The reason I didn't is that this isn't an Omicron that's necessary. If you put it on bounty hunters, there's still a lot of teams that will beat bounty hunters, right? Sure, it might require a more difficult team to beat it, but it's not going to start killing galactic legends. And you put this with Jabba the Hutt, and obviously Jabba's going to be more difficult to kill, but again, like I was saying earlier, Jabba's already so hard to kill, making him more difficult to beat, is it really that big of a deal, right? Is it really that important to your guild? This top tier category, first we've got Mara Jade. Whoops. So Mara Jade's Omicron is just so good. She's, the long and short of it, right? As long as there's no GLs, she's gonna, or as long as there's no GLs, they lose, 100% protection and 50% max protection. And Mara Jade gains 100% turn meter. So she's going to gain turn meter right off the bat. So she's going to go third in any situation behind Han Solo, who shoots first, Wat Tambor taking his bonus turn, and then Mara Jade's going to go ahead and take a turn. Right now, with that cooldown datacron, she can just start spamming stuff, right? But this Omicron makes Empire really valuable on defense because she can start getting that turn meter train rolling and going. And if you leave an Empire team preloaded, it is almost impossible to take out. Now keep in mind that Mara Jade Omicron. We're going to go to Juani next. Juani, at the start of battle, she gains this redeemed ability here. She taunts, and then Juani and a dark side unaligned force user ally, excluding Empire, who, guess who's that? Mara Jade, which means Juani's Omicron is basically to make Starkiller amazing inside of Territory Wars, and redeemed, just so we get these bonuses down here, 35 speed. Whenever an ally with redeemed uses an ability, they're, the rest of the people with redeemed are called to assist. So Starkiller's assisting Juani. It's crazy. There's a lot of survivability in this team, banner recovery, stuff like that. The reason why this is top tier, right, is that this is taking a team that otherwise in, Starkiller, where he's really good in GAC, now is really valuable in Territory Wars. So, in my personal opinion, that's kind of outweighing the difference between Grand Inquisitor, Boba Fett, Sign of Django, and some of the other characters who only have a one-dimensional kind of Omicron. Apologize for that background noise. My cats are kind of being crazy right now and knocked over my favorite beverage. Anyway, back to the list here. Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, she is the next character on this list. She turns into the Wampa of Territory Wars. I'm not going to read all this stuff. This is whoever designs these deserves a writing award because these are all novels. But she turns into the Wampa of Territory Wars, and that's brilliant, right? If she's one-shotting teams, that's saving you so much offensive firepower. Finally, we got the Jawas. This is just a hilarious Omicron. They basically turn into the Jawas from Conquest, Galactic Challenges. additional survivability, thermal detonators going off left and right. This team is just so good and can stonewall a lot of different people. So I really like them in this top tier because I think it's just one of those surprises that you don't expect. But that's the video, guys. Those are the characters. Again, let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. I think Territory Wars gets a lot of hate, and I don't think it's really well deserved. I think Territory Wars is extremely important, and I think a lot of guilds who put value in Territory Wars are smart because it is a fantastic way for your guild to get Datacron pieces, additional guild currencies, Zetas, relic materials. I mean, the list goes on and on. Territory Wars, guys, is very important, and I think sometimes it doesn't get enough coverage because it's not as flashy as GAC. But anyway, guys, that's just one man's opinion. If you are still watching, go ahead, throw down the comments that Wampa is king. I love you all. May the force be with you, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.